Hey everybody, Rob John Webb here for Wax-A-Disc, and this is this week's course for members only, where I'm going to walk through one of the tracks that I released over the past year or so. This week, it is a slow edit version, recover version, so to speak, of Tom Tom Club, Genius of Love, Mariah Carey, you know, that kind of hybrid. So basically, it's the vocals of Mariah Carey with a cover version of the Tom Tom Club on top. Now, I wanted to show you just how I did this, so that you can take little tips and tricks from this and the sounds I use and the way that I've done this, so that you can then take this into your own productions and do your own thing. So the track is this. So you get the gist of it. It's the samples of Mariah Carey and then the cover version of the Tom Tom Club record. So anyway, I thought about how we would go about doing this originally, and I just took very basic beats, very basic bass lines, EQs, guitars, etc. Didn't go overboard in it. As you can see, there's 10 tracks in the whole thing, and you know, 4 of those are drums. So basically, let's have a look at the drum kits. I want to give you tips on stuff to use. So, you know, sometimes when you're scrolling through the Ableton drum racks and you don't know what to use, then these videos also help with the selection of sounds that you want to find, you know, for your disco and your funk and stuff. So I've just got that. It's just a heavy... So it's got a 1970s kick. It's good for hip-hop, that is, but it's also good for, like, disco. And then just an open Bamvin hat. A little shaker. And the claps there, clap acoustic and snare funk MPC. Wicked little snare. So I've got those in there, and that's the vibing kit. So they're just like straightforward beat. Look at that. That's all it is, look. So that's that. And then I wanted to get another drum on top of that. So I got the 707. Now the 707 kit, the Funky Beans kit, here we go. Just a straightforward closed hat and a snare and a kick and a clap at the end. And then you combine that on top of this, the vibing kit. Just gives it that extra lift. However, I wanted something else on there to drive it along as well. So I got a drum loop, which is this. Just an old school funk beat. And then take away the bottom end of it. All the bottom end goes out, so you've not have the kick in there. So you thin it out and make it a top. Put those 3 together. And there's your beat. And then, of course, I've got a crash in there, which is... a EDM crash, that's what it's called. It's just a live crash, really, with plenty of delay on it, and that was that. Okay, so next up then, I wanted to work out the chords of the track. So I got up the clavinet from the Tyrell, okay, which is a free VST if you've not got it. I always go on about this thing, and it's the synth clavinet sound in there, and it's... Very simple sound. I'm just going to look at the riff of that now, because I can't quite remember the chords I use. It's A major, so we've got a G major, sorry, an E minor. So it's kind of like a reggae sort of. So you've got a kind of a reggae sort of vibe with that. Plenty of delay on there. G major and E minor. And if you just solo that, it's just... really raw. And then here. the pattern changes slightly. So you've got this build up, just stabby little sounds, and then it builds and it drops here. Exactly the same, it's just gone, but you've gone down an octave and added an extra note. So rather than stabs on the build up, when it drops, it's so you're making it more emphasized on the drop when the beats kick in and the bass changes. So that's that. And then when it gets here, when that hi-hat comes in off the vibing kit, that when your open hi-hat comes in, it builds momentum. Then your chords change to the longer notes. And that all you're doing is just stabs, then so that you're giving the, you're laying it down then at that point, and it just has a better hit. So that was that. Then we wanted the riff. So the riff, of course, comes from the OBX synth, which is the BA2 sound. I don't know what sound that is, but that comes from in there. And this is this. That's the classic riff. So it's and just those notes on top of the clavinet. And there you go, look. C, D, B, and B. So that was just basically this tiny little synth sound. So all I did with that synth sound, if we have a look at that, is I've gone up the octaves. So let's go down a bit. It might help if I actually change it to the riff one. My bad. So I got there, and then there we go. So D. So it's just C, D, C, and B. D, C, D, B, 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 B. Such a simple riff, but so cool. 3 notes, that's all that is. So you go. Absolutely brilliant little sound. Simple. So you don't even need to, when you're making tracks, you just simple riffs like, it's tiny little sound, get the right sort of sound. And you just come up with a simple riff. It's sometimes the simplest things are the most effective. So we've got that, and then we wanted the bass on top. So we've got a synth bass. Again, the Tyrell, the boogie bass, my favourite synth bass of all time. And again, the bass pattern's on there. You're just going with the chords, which is the G and the E. So you follow the chords, the root notes. And there you go. So it comes together really powerful, but there's very little drive in it. And that's the thing you should learn yourself, is to not overdo stuff. Don't have 20, 30, 40 tracks. Simplify it. Pick 4 or 5 sounds and put them together. Pick these 4 or 5 sounds, and put them together. So, bass line. That's all it is. So next up then, I wanted obviously a guitar. So what I did was I got a muted guitar from within Ableton. So the guitar bass notes come from out of here. And it was, let's have a look at this, the guitar dead notes. So it was the guitar mute, basically. And what I did with that is I just put some delay on it and some chorus. Compressed it for a reason, EQ'd it, and delay. There you go. And just gave it that chorus, that kind of early 80s sort of, effect that, a lot of bands started using in those days when chorus became quite a popular plugin. Well, foot pedal, whatever you want to call it, on guitars in those days. So yeah, it was an effect that became quite popular by the 80s. So as you can see, we've got 3 drum kits there, the vibing, we've got the 707, and we've got an old funk drum loop, Crash. And then we've got a synth bass, we've got a synth riff, very simple few notes, we've got a clavinet and a guitar. And the only thing left is this Mirrorable sound which I created, which is this. It's an arpeggio. And all that is from a plugin called the UVI Workstation. Now, I can't remember exactly where the sound came from unless I can open it up. But if I look in here, it was called, what's it called? Mirrorable. So it might be that I have that actual sound in here somewhere. But I couldn't tell you where it is exactly. But basically, this thing here, this UVI, you can use this and get kind of like, it might be in here actually, Mirrorable. But you can get, this package is brilliant. It's about $80, I think. I'm not quite sure. But it has, oh, there you go, look, Mirrorable. So if I load this up, I'm going to show you now. This is basically an entire suite in one. So if I press play on this, so the synth for that is this, look. Not that one. Not that one. There we go. Is it that one? Or is it the melody? There you go, sorry. It's the melody. So all I've done is, it would have been G. And that's that sound there. So I would have gone something like, I've tweaked it somewhere along the line. But basically, this UVI Workstation is a Super 7. It's a load of retro sounds from the 80s. And you can go into it, look, and tweak every sound. You've got the basses, you've got the drums, you've got everything. And basically, it's like instant tracks, instant demos, and you can lift things from them. You can take the MIDI from it and drag it over into your DAW. You can tweak these sounds. There's hundreds of presets that you can mess about with. So that's where that little arpeggiated sound came from. So as I say, the one final thing left to do was to get the vocal. Now, obviously, Mariah Carey, you know, is a huge star, but I took the vocal, that snippet, and then it was this one. So obviously I took that, but I put it through a vocal extraction software called lala.ai. You can get that online, just Google it. And what I did was I just snippeted those few bits there, and obviously you can hear little artifacts in there. It's not crystal, but when you layer it with everything and you EQ it, it takes away a lot of the mud and a lot of the grit that comes with it. So that was it. That's the entire track that I've done. As you can see, there's only 10 tracks there in total, right? And 4 of them are drums. And all I did regarding the mixdown of these tracks was, if you look at all of the different things here, we've got a little bit of EQ removed on that one. We've got some EQ there on the drums. EQ removed on the Mariah vocal, obviously, and the delay. All of the delays have sent from the sends to the reverbs. The riff, again, cut out the bottom end lot. Bass line's quite thick, obviously. The guitar's got a little bit of bottom end cut out, but a lot of delayed chorus. The Mirrorable is cut out. Clavinet is reasonably okay. Crash is cut out. Second beat's cut out. And it's always about reducing on EQing. So when you've got your tracks, as long as your beats are quite thick and your bass is thick, and you've got a bottom end on that, you know, then you can work on removing EQ from the bottoms off your instrument sounds and your higher end sounds, so that you have loads more space in the bottom for your bass and your kicks, and then your top stuff can be filtered out at the bottom end, and then you can have a much clearer mix. So yeah, that's it really. Obviously plenty of delay and reverb on a lot of that stuff, but I just wanted to show you that track so that you can take some ideas from there, you know. And the key to this tutorial, this walkthrough, is don't overdo it. Just do very simple tracks. Just make a track this week with a synth bass, a guitar, muted strat sort of guitar, this kind of guitar. I'll go down the octaves and just go. Simple, just like. Very, very simple. But with a few effects on there, the delay and the EQ and the chorus, it sounds really good. You know, so do that. A little arpeggio sort of sound, a clavinet, and, you know, and that's it. That's all you need. And the rest of it, you know, get a vocal sample, but that's all you need to make a track that, you know, has a big sound, but it has very little in it. So thank you for watching. Head over to next week where we're going to start doing something new. We're going to break away from the walkthroughs now, and I'm going to give you some brand new content for members only. But any questions, do contact me. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye.